Okay, who in the Aussie audience has ordered something from your favorite online retailer recently? Anyone ordered anything online? Looks like that's the majority. So when that product arrived, did you receive it in a box that was significantly too large? Okay, and that is exactly what we at Packsize are solving. We are helping customers avoid exactly that very problem, to have to ship a box in a product in a box that is significantly too large. So this is what we have recently received, and that's probably also what your shipment looked like. It's not uncommon to have so much filling material in the box. And you can see that the box was at least 50% too large. And that is our mission, to help customers avoid that problem. So I would like to begin with two case studies. One case study from the fulfillment industry, where we will begin with the characteristics of the project and then the financial impact that this project has had on the customer. And the second example is the same application, only in a manufacturing environment. And so we will also there discuss the project and then the financial impact that this project had on that customer. Afterwards, I will go a little bit more into detail of the Packsize solution. How is that possible that today anyone can have the right box size on demand at the right point in time? And also a few more details about the Packsize business model, the fact that there is no capital expense for customers to get into on-demand packaging with Packsize. And then if we have a little bit more time, we can talk about the carbon footprint implications that shipping the right box has for the customers. So this is a pretty bold statement, but roughly 50% of the world's shipping volume is air. And when you look at online retailing, it's actually more than that. And that is what customers of the Packsize system can avoid, is to have an on-demand box dispensing system that is fed with a contiguous sheet of corrugated, and the packaging process on demand provides the right box in the right box size, in the right style, on demand without any inventory needs. So we will hand out a couple of samples here, and Tosh, if you can maybe just hand those out. So we will work through the first case study here, and that is the fulfillment industry. So we will be handing out some boxes, and inside of the box you will find a performance comparison. This box represents the size and style that a Packsize customer would have used shipping a small product that any one of you probably would have ordered during an online retail purchase process. And the larger box represents the box that the online retailer would have used in the absence of an on-demand packaging system. So if we look at if you take out the sheet, there we have the performance of the traditional box, the Packsize box, and then the improvement. So if you look at the red column, you have the performance of the traditional box, and you can see that the corrugated square footage, if we now go down to the second column here, the corrugated square footage that is used to make the larger box is significantly larger than the corrugated that is needed to make a smaller box. So that also reduces the weight of the shipment. So as you all know, freight charges are a function of the shipping volume and the weight. So in this case, we are having a 47% corrugated reduction, but we also have a 47% weight reduction, because that is proportional to the amount of corrugated used. Now for this shipment, we are seeing a 22% weight reduction of the shipment as a whole, which is significant when it comes to evaluating the freight savings. Now, what is even more relevant is the line at the bottom. We are seeing a 77% volume reduction. So if you're shipping this box compared to this box, you are actually shipping 77% less volume. And that has an impact on the entire supply chain. So if all of the companies shipping products were using the right box size, matching the size of the product, we would be able to eliminate roughly 30 to 40% of all of the trucks, all of the freight planes that are basically unnecessarily moving air today. And that is why an on-demand box making system helps significantly optimize the supply chain. But none of this really matters unless there is savings for the customer. So in this case, and this is the fulfillment example, we are looking at one of the larger players in the fulfillment industry. They have a total shipping volume of 1.13 million boxes per day. So this is the total of multiple facilities across North America. They have been using 9 different box sizes to handle an infinitely large number of different product configurations and customer orders. So how does the financial impact look like for this customer who is now using the Packsize system? The filling material cost reduction was $1.7 million per year. That is all of the plastic bags and peanuts and crushed paper that is used to fill up the void in the box. Then there are fewer trucks used to now haul the same number of orders. And these are the line hauls that this customer is saving by themselves. That is $2.7 million per year. Then we have an additional area of savings where parcel boxes are shipped using FedEx or UPS, for instance. And that savings amounted to $1.15 million per year. But the single largest amount of savings or additional amount of revenue in this case was probably the single largest customer complaint. So for this customer, the single largest complaint that their customers had was excessive packaging. And we don't have access to what that financial impact would have made on this company. But we do know that it was their single most frequently comment as far as customer complaints. And that complaint by an on-demand packaging system can be avoided completely. So just in hard numbers, the cost reduction was $5.6 million for this company. Now that was fulfillment. So in the manufacturing environment, an on-demand packaging solution saves money in different areas. And here on the right, we have the example of a case goods manufacturer who ships 1,500 boxes per day in hundreds of different sizes. It is a custom case goods manufacturing facility that has been using 8 corner protectors and 6 edge protectors as internal packaging. Now the cost of these internal packagings was $1.25 per box. There was significant labor involved to handle all of the different corrugated SKUs, to insert the corner and the edge protectors, and that amounted to 3.75 employees per shift. That is a 2-shift production environment that we are looking at here. And the cost was 81 cents per box in labor. That is in the second line down there. The largest cost factor, however, is the handling of hundreds of different corrugated SKUs. These corrugated SKUs have to be sourced in small batches. There is significant inventory space associated with it. There is also labor associated with replenishing inventory, flushing boxes in and out of inventory. And there are also limitations in terms of the kind of box that one can use. So a customized box design doesn't make sense when you only buy dozens of boxes for each of the sizes per year. So the customer was limited to using just the RSC style box, and the RSC style box has significant disadvantages when it comes to the ease of erecting, the ease of closing. And so we ended up with a total cost per box for this company of $5.58. So if we compare this to a lean alternative, an on-demand packaging system, we were able to integrate the internal packaging items into the minor flap of one of the flaps of the custom box that the Packsize system is producing for the customer on demand. So that reduced the cost of the internal packaging items down to 95 cents per box. we still had to use the edge protectors. That was a requirement. We couldn't eliminate those, but we were able to eliminate the 2 minor edge protectors and also the corner protectors, all 8 of them. So as far as labor, a lean packaging system requires less labor. There's no walking back and forth between the inventory. There's no back flushing of remaining corrugated SKUs. There's no shrinkage. There's no obsolescence. Each box is made on demand right next to the pack line. So that is a lot leaner, and the customer was able to work with 2 employees per shift. So we now have a cost of only 43 cents per box as opposed to 81 cents per box in this leaner production environment. One of the most significant advantages, however, is the diversity of different box sizes and box styles that this customer is now enabled to provide themselves with, which means that we now have customized package designs for doors, for moldings, for the case goods, for odd shape items, which before were not possible to source. So the total cost of this supply chain on the left is $3.91 per box. And how does this add up to the savings per year? So again, we have a case goods manufacturer with hundreds of different SKUs that they produce in a lean single-piece flow production environment. We have 1,500 boxes per day. And we have more than 350 corrugated SKUs to match all of the items that are manufactured at this plant. So by category, the savings add up to $103,000 on just the savings of the internal packaging items, because we are now using the minor flap of the corrugated sheets, which basically makes the corner protector free, because we're using the minor flap of an RSC style box, for instance. Then we have the labor content reduction of $131,000 per year. And then in this case, the corrugated material is actually the single largest area of savings, which is different from the fulfillment industry. In the fulfillment industry, the corrugated pretty much breaks even, and shipping savings and filling material represent the largest areas of savings there. But in a manufacturing environment, it is most likely the corrugated that saves most of the money. So the total savings in this case add up to $576,000 every year. And then the lean solution also provides space savings, shrinkage reduction, obsolescence reduction. Often we see a significant reduction in freight damage also, because now the boxes actually fit. And when you don't have air in the box, then the product cannot move, and that is one of the most important reasons why freight damage can be avoided. And these numbers we did not even include in the case study here. So how does that look like? How does I would like to share a brief video with you to give you a feeling how simple and how easy it is to put in an on-demand packaging system. The system only takes up 86 square foot of space, including the corrugated that feeds into the machine. It is easily loaded, and it can be loaded with multiple sizes of corrugated sheet stock that feeds into the machine. Those are contiguous sheets of corrugated, which are specially manufactured for the Packsize packaging solutions. They are roughly 1,200 lineal feet long. And you can see at what fast pace, in a small batch environment, for instance, boxes can be dispensed by the system. There's no setup time. It can be integrated into any automated packaging process. Oftentimes there are barcode readers where the packaging personnel scans a barcode on the manufactured item, or it is the ERP system that transmits the data, the dimensional data, for each product directly into our machine. And then the Packsize system then immediately makes the right box size and the right style on demand. There's no inventory in between. Often it is only seconds from the system receiving the dimensional data to dispensing the right box size. And then that sheet is taken in a single piece flow and then used to package the product right away. For those of you who are interested in the carbon footprint impact that the right size box has, we go back to the fulfillment example that we started with. So this is a diagram of the corrugated supply chain. It starts with the forestry, then trees are converted into pulp. Pulp is then converted into paper. Paper is then converted into corrugated. And then corrugated is converted into boxes. And then the boxes are packaged and are then shipped to the customer. And then there's an 80% recycling rate in the United States, where 80% of the corrugated that enters this supply chain is then recycled and enters back on the pulp stage. So 80% of the paper is recycled, but there's still energy that is required to move the paper and the pulp through this supply chain. And so in the example of the fulfillment example that we used earlier, we have been able to reduce the total usage of paper by 6.5 million pounds. So 6.5 million pounds of paper and corrugated has been used less throughout the entire supply chain. And that has an impact on the carbon footprint. So if we go backwards from the corrugated savings, we can calculate the pounds that are saved along the entire supply chain. And then if we go to the right, we are looking at the downstream supply chain CO2 footprint reduction. And what we see is that we have a significantly reduced carbon footprint for each of the steps. And to boil it down, to summarize this down to one meaningful number that anyone who ships product can use, we are seeing 2 pounds of carbon footprint reduction, 2 pounds of CO2 that is emitted less as the per box. So for every box that is shipped in the right box size as opposed to a larger box size, our customers are saving 2 pounds of CO2. And then it is pretty easy to do the math. How many boxes does one ship? And then times 2, that is the number of carbon footprint improvement that our customers are seeing. Any questions? Our customers, the question is, how do we join the manufacturer's joint? This is the manufacturer's joint in the corrugated industry, and our system produces a flat sheet. So we have a special accessory that ranges from fully automatic to semi-automatic based on the cycle time of the customer and how fast we have to be, that enables the customer to join the manufacturer's joint within the cycle time of putting on a label, for instance, or of putting on a shipping sticker, for instance. So gluing this flap does not add to the cycle time of the total process. But it has to be done on demand after the sheet has exited the machine. Okay. The cost of the machine, Packsize carries the cost of the equipment. In the packaging environment, we don't find it very often that customers are willing to spend $100,000, $200,000 or $300,000 on packaging equipment when no customer really wants to be in the box making business. And so our business model is based on providing the equipment and charging for just the square footage of corrugated that is processed by the machine. And so that works very well for our customers because they are already paying money for the corrugated, and with the Packsize solution they just pay less. But they're paying for basically the same thing they've been paying before, but they just pay less money. But for anyone who wants to pay us $200,000 for the machine, we will sell it also. The raw material of machines, we have set up a network across the United States because that is a special kind of corrugated that feeds into the machine. It's a contiguous sheet of corrugated, 1,200 lineal feet long single wall, 750 lineal feet long double wall. And it depends on where you are in the country from which facility we would be shipping the corrugated. But we have set up a network, and we have also made direct investments into those production facilities to assure the cost-effective and efficient supply of corrugated. I think the time is up, and I think the next speaker wants to begin to set up. But thank you very much.